I'm Larry Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show giving you the politics behind the biggest moves in the stock market. It is presented with comedic common sense by an expert in financial literacy, and hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. Today is Monday, May 2nd, and I want to welcome you to the show. We are here live on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia, and we are live on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can also find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Truth Social, TikTok, and all the other social media sites by searching Larry Steinhouse. Just a reminder, if you're watching online, hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. You can comment live during the show on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and please say hi so I know you're watching. Hey, a couple of people saying hi already. Hey, Mick. Hey, Bill. Thanks so much. By the way, if you're commenting from a group and it's not the Money Chat Now fan page, your name may not show up on my dashboard, so please go to the Money Chat Now page and comment there so I can recognize you. Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com, and there you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. All right, so on today's show, of course, we're going to be discussing the futures update. We're going to be talking about Warren Buffett. We're going to be talking about the chip shortage continuing, the internet in space, and the Ministry of Truth. Bum, bum, bum. You guys want to tune into the Ministry of Truth. All right, we have a couple people joining us online too. We have James and, of course, my lovely wife, my biggest fan. Thank you so much for watching. All right, today, let's talk a little bit about what happened on Friday. So Friday played out just the way I said it was. I told you that I thought the Dow was going to go down more than it went up the day before, and it did just that. The Dow was down 939 points, but holy moly, the NASDAQ was down 536 points. That's a 4% drop. Man, that's scary. You know, by the way, here's a little history on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, as you know, is mostly tech stocks. In the tech stock bubble, the NASDAQ hit a high of just under 5,000 in the year 2000. It didn't return to those levels until about 2014. That's a long time. Now, it did hit a recent high of over 16,000, and it's coming down quickly. I'm telling you, I looked at the chart, and I think it's going to settle around 7,500 to 9,000, and it'll probably be a long time before it crosses the previous highs again. So the question now is, are we in a bear market? I'm going to say we are, but you haven't seen anything yet. So what's happening? It's very simple, actually. The stock market has kind of a life of its own, and like any living thing, it has emotion. The emotion of the market drives the investor's decisions, just like when you're having a bad day at work and you notice, you can't do anything right. It's basically the same thing here. The investors are having a bad year, so they continue to not do anything right. Of course, we have outside influences like the idiot in the White House. We, talk about not being able to do anything right. Oy. All right, we have also runaway inflation, the Fed raising interest rates, and the likelihood of a recession looming upon us. Finally, we also have earnings seasons ending. This means that, that all we have is bad news or no news to drive the emotion of the market. I told you I feel the market's going to be around 31,500 mid-May. I also believe the market will be around 28,000 before the end of the year. Barring anything crazy like another scandemic, it'll probably hold the 28,000 to 30,000 range throughout the next year. But because I like stock options, I'm a short-term player anyway, so all I care about is the next 3 weeks as we wind down earnings and then have pain for about a month after that. This period is what I call the dead zone. By the way, if you don't know what the dead zone is, stop by Investor Schooling one night and I'll explain the theory of the dead zone to you. All right, the big loser on Friday was Amazon now. The stock plunged about 14% on weaker sales. Well, duh. Amazon rode the scamdemic wave to a high of $37.73 a share, and people are going back to their regular lives now. The stock is sitting at around 2,500 right now, and the pre-scamdemic numbers look like it'll go about 2,000 in the next few weeks. I like the play into the split into July, but right now expect this to go down. At 2,000 a share, I tell you right now, buy 5 shares and wait for the split. When that happens, you'll have 100 shares and you can sell the covered calls as supplementary income. Last week I made about $4,500 selling covered calls, and I still have a lot of the stock. Actually, I still have all the stocks. I'll be selling covered calls again today, and I'll make, about the same for the week. My favorite covered call so far is pretty much Uber. Uber seems to be the greatest covered call play I've been playing so far. All right, so right now the Dow is struggling to stay above, to stay green. It's at 45. The S&P is just sitting there doing nothing, and the Nasdaq is already down 3 points. So we can already see that it's not looking so good. But we'll have to see what happens at the end of the day. I think there might be a dead cat bounce. We'll talk about that at the end of the show, but we'll see. Let's talk a little bit about Warren Buffett. So this weekend was the annual Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting, and this has been dubbed the Woodstock for capitalists. It's kind of an epic event where the shareholders of Berkshire Hathaway stock all meet together and have sort of a reunion and party. It started out as a small event in 1972 where, believe it or not, about a dozen people attended. As the years went by, the numbers increased to over 10,000 participants. Of course, you'll get several geniuses in investing, including Buffett's partner, Charlie Munger, and they'll all hang out there. The Oracle of Omaha himself was speaking about several items of importance to finances and the economy. I found some of the topics interesting. He shared views on the stocks he invested in. He shared views on the new forms of money, including Bitcoin. And he shared views on the state of the stock market. And he shared his views on inflation. This is what he had to say about some of the topics that I enjoyed. So Buffett complained about the stock market being, and I quote, a gambling parlor. He stated how the stock market makes money on transactions and how the market has been encouraging multiple trades and transactions. His exact words were, Wall Street makes money one way or another, catching the crumbs that fall off the table of capitalism, he continued, and then he continued, they don't make money unless people do things and they get a piece of them. They make a lot more money when people are gambling than when they are investing. Well, look, I got to tell you, Buffett is a very conservative investor who has implemented a time-tested strategy of long-term buy and hold with companies he believes in or that he can add value to. So it makes sense for him to disagree with those who want to try different things. Look, we don't all have the money he has to invest either. We can't just go out and buy, Geico and then turn it into one of the greatest companies in the country. Here's what he said about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. He said it's not a productive asset and doesn't produce anything tangible. Here's his quote. Whether it goes up or down in the next year or 5 or 10 years, I don't know. But the one thing I'm pretty sure of is that it doesn't produce anything. It's got a magic to it, and people have attached magics to lots of things. He compared it to buying other assets and how assets need to produce income quickly. I got to tell you, I often make this analogy when somebody asks me if buying land is a good investment. Well, if you have a plan to build something on it, then yes. But if your plan is to buy and hold the land and then sell it years later at a profit, you'll probably lose a lot on that investment. As soon as you buy it, it becomes a liability unless it produces income from either farming or improvements. The land is basically worthless to them, and you're paying taxes on it. Charlie Munger, Buffett's long-term partner, also chimed in about the Robinhood app. So Munger lambasted what he characterized as Robinhood's short-term gambling and big commissions and hidden kickbacks and so on. Robinhood does not charge users a commission and generates a majority of its revenue from payment on order flow, the back-end payment brokerages receive for directing clients' trades to market makers. He then said it was disgusting. Munger then said, now it's unraveling, God is getting just. Wow. He must have some pretty strong opinions against Robinhood to say things like that. So anyway, he was... So that, by the way, this is basically the digested version of the Berkshire Hathaway groupie meeting. And the interesting part of it is that both Munger and Buffett are right in so many ways. Their concepts will prove to be sound in the upcoming change in the economy. By the way, don't you wish you bought some Berkshire Hathaway stock 20 years ago? It was about $50,000 a share, and now it's about $500,000 a share. Not a bad return. Here's a surprise. It doesn't pay a dividend. Huh. I don't know, maybe Buffett is just a cheap old man. Let's talk about the chip shortage. I want to say hello to a couple of people online real quick. We got Lewis and Charles and James and Jose and Dan. Thanks so much. I totally appreciate you guys. All right, last week we heard from Apple, and although their earnings were great, the company had concerning guidance. Their concern was that the chip supplies needed to continue to deliver their products, such as iPhones and computers, is a problem, right? Nokia is also reporting chip supply problems and that they would have grown faster in the last quarter if they had not been for supply chain issues. By the way, Nokia, are they still around? The automobile industry is also being affected. The global chip shortage wreaked havoc on the industry in 2021, as many of them struggled to find the pieces of silicon they need to power features such as cruise control and parking sensors. So what's the current situation? Well, apparently the Chinese want to eradicate the common cold from their country. They are continuing to push COVID agenda and locking down the country whenever someone sneezes. Now we're seeing real effects of outsourcing all of our production. We get our chips from China and Taiwan, and we get our oil from terrorist countries. Even our food supply comes from other countries. Did you know that 69% of our food comes from other countries? Of course, this is a big problem for us. The chip supply will continue to be a problem until we, as Americans, start manufacturing more basic products here and stop our dependency on other countries for everything. This is it was becoming a small world a few years ago, and now the world is getting bigger and further apart, and it's becoming a real problem that even if we had the desire to fix it, it would take decades to fix this problem. It's a shame that we didn't have more stuff in America, built in America. I know a president who was working on that, but he got thrown out. All right, let's take a break here, and we'll talk about some more things in a minute. Hi, I'm Larry Steinhouse, and I'm a financial literacy expert. Yeah, I know, you've heard that a lot. There are a lot of people out there call themselves financial literacy experts, but I promise you that in my new book, Money Hacks, this book is also subtitled, by the way, because everything you think you know about money is wrong. But I promise you, in this book, you're going to learn things that you never knew about money, and it's going to help you make more money and pay less taxes. I'm actually going to have a book signing and a dinner to celebrate my new book. That's going to be at the Sheraton in Oxford Valley on June 1st at 6 o'clock. And I'm going to sign this book for you right now. And you are going to be able to get this signed copy when you come. I hope to see you then. All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And if you'd like to attend the book signing, I'm going to be doing a book signing and a Money Hacks presentation on June 1st in the Sheraton in Oxford Valley. If you'd like to attend, you can go to Money Hacks Live, moneyhackslive.com, and you can attend for $27. We're going to even give you a great dinner, so you definitely want to do that. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to learn a lot, I promise. So that's moneyhackslive.com. All right, by the way, if you're listening on WWDB Radio, I want to thank you all again. And if you're watching online, please hit that share button so you can help your friends learn about how to make more money. Hit that like button. Let me know you enjoy the show. And you can leave comments on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and I'll even try to respond to them. All right, so far right now, the Dow is pulling back. It's down. It's up 30 still. The S&P is down about a point, and the NASDAQ is down 13. So it's actually starting to go the other way. We talked about Warren Buffett, and we talked about his strategy and what he's doing and how he doesn't like Bitcoin. And I don't know, I kind of agree with him on the Bitcoin thing, but a little bit different. I actually think that Bitcoin has another problem in the fact that when it becomes mainstream, it's not going to start to move up the way it did. We talked about the chip shortage. Let's get into talking about internet in space, and we're going to be talking about the Ministry of Truth, and of course, today's picks and plays. But first, did you guys hit that like button? Did you guys hit that share button yet? Don't forget to leave comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you're listening on WWDB Radio, be sure and set a preset to this station and listen every day at 7:30. Also, look up Money Chat Now on Facebook when you get home and let me know what you think of the show. All right, before we start this second half, don't forget, order my book. Is it going to be a recession or a simple downturn? Well, if you want to survive through it, you should order my book. Go to barnesandnoble.com and look up Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse. Pre-order it, and I promise you're going to learn something. There are chapters in this book about how to make more money and chapters about how to pay less taxes. And by the way, I made about $100,000 last month, and I'm never going to pay taxes on that money, and I mean never. Learn from me as I teach you how to do that and many other money hacks. All right, let's get into the second half. Let's talk about, first of all, the internet and space. Hey, have you ever noticed how annoying it is to be on a plane and trying to get internet service? Well, some of the airlines offer the service for a few, but it's not always reliable. For me, I always lose my connection just when I'm about to, like make a trade. Actually, that happened to me on a cruise ship once, and it was a disaster. I was trying to trade something, and I couldn't get out of it in time, and it cost me a lot of money because the cruise ship had bad internet connection. Well, apparently, two companies are currently competing for the internet in space arena. No, it's not so when you can fly to another planet or take your spacewalk and still use your smartphone. By the way, could you imagine the Facebook Live videos that would make if you were taking your spacewalk? It's basically for global internet systems that will be all Wi-Fi based. This would be like thousands of satellites orbiting the planet delivering internet service. Elon Musk has already launched SpaceX, and it has about 2,000 satellites in orbit. And they serve about 250,000 total subscribers. The Federal Communications Commission has approved SpaceX to launch a total of 12,000 satellites. Wow, I gotta tell you, that's a lot of satellites. Now it appears that Amazon is getting into the satellite internet business as well. Amazon has a plan to deliver internet from space using 3,236 small satellites in low Earth orbit called Project Kuiper. Kuiper, I don't know what the heck it is. All right, I just have to stop and reflect here for a moment to think about this, right? Jeff Bezos was selling books on the internet, books. And now look at his company, satellites, robots, and home automation. I gotta tell you, it's amazing. Anyway, it looks like the future of all internet services are gonna be in space. Here's an interesting estimation. It is estimated that 37% of the world's population has still never used the internet. I don't know if that's good for them or bad for them, but 96% of those people are living in developing countries, according to data from the International Telecommunications Union. So really get ready for uninterrupted satellite internet, and you can say goodbye to Comcast and Verizon Fios because their days are numbered. I'm so happy about that, actually. That would be great. Wouldn't it be great to have internet service that might be cheaper and also actually work? It would be pretty fascinating. All right, let's get into the Ministry of Truth. I know you guys have been waiting for this one. Look, if you haven't read George Orwell's book 1984, you're missing out on the prediction of things to come. For those who are saying we're living in the time of the book, you're absolutely wrong. We are living in the time before the book. Everything in that book hasn't come to full force yet, but we are certainly on our way. It is an absolute prequel. We're living the prequel. The main character in this book is named Winston, and he has a job in the Ministry of Truth. His job, along with all the others appointed to the Ministry of Truth, is simply to make sure the citizens of the country, or possibly the world, know only the truth. You know, the truth. No, not the truth as the truth, but the truth as the government wants you to know it. Its job is simple. It controls the news media, entertainment, the fine arts, educational books, and its purpose is to rewrite history to change the facts to fit a party doctrine for propaganda effect. Sound familiar? Well, the Ministry of Truth was actually just launched by the Biden administration. Check this out. The Department of Homeland Security has announced the formation of the Disinformation Governance Board. The Disinformation Governance Board. Wow! The purpose is to counter misinformation related to Homeland Security, focused specifically on irregular migration and Russia. And Russia? Wow. How weird is this, by the way? DGB is just one letter off of KGB. But more importantly, we have seen this Ministry of Truth already initiated in social media. All the news outlets and everything else, right? So what is the truth? The truth is whatever the Ministries of Truth want you to know or believe. Here are some Ministry of Truths for you. Masks prevent coronavirus. Epstein committed suicide. Russia got Trump elected. The war in Russia is all about Putin's ego. The vaccine is the reason you didn't die from coronavirus. Biden has all his full faculties. Men can get pregnant. People can choose their gender. Russia is the reason for gas prices being so high. And here is a head scratcher. I gotta tell you, if you saw this is a really weird one. Nancy Pelosi just flew into a war zone to shake Zelensky's hand. Huh? Oh, and amid other things not mentioned, Hunter Biden's laptop is a Russian plant to get Trump reelected. So there is the truth for you. Don't forget it, because the truth will set you free. Just ask what the character Winston said in the book about that one. What truths are you hearing? Well, here's a truth. Watch this commercial.
Investor schooling. Those guys are everywhere.
Investor schooling? Those guys are everywhere.
Investor schooling?
Those guys are everywhere.
Investor Schooling. Those guys are everywhere. Register for a free class at investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And if you want more information on investor schooling, go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. Hey, definitely go there. Definitely check it out. And we will definitely tell you the truth about what's going on in the market and also in all of your finances. I got to laugh. Somebody online posted this, and I thought this was absolutely hysterical. David, it's very important that you know his name is David, said, "Good morning. I'm worried as I just peed in a stick because I'm late." He liked what we just talked about. All right. Right now, the futures are, the Dow is kind of neutral. The S&P is down 6, and the NASDAQ is down 30. We talked about Warren Buffett. We talked about the chip shortage. We talked about the internet in space. And, of course, the Ministry of Truth. Epstein committed suicide. We know that. Okay. All right, coming up, we have today's picks and plays. But first, did you guys hit that like button yet? Did you guys hit that share button and let everyone know what great stock plays are coming by sharing this information? And you could share it on your page or in groups that you feel will benefit from great stock plays. And, of course, you could comment on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube. And if you're listening on WWDB Radio, set one of your presets to this channel and listen every day at 7:30 for all you need to know about the politics behind the stock market. All right, let's talk about what's going to go on today. I was expecting a dead cat bounce today as the market recovers from its worst month since 2008. By the way, there's that year again. Have you noticed the comparison to 2008 continues? I've made several comparisons to 2008 in the past, and I believe it's our future. The near future is about 2 years from now. I've said it before, ask yourself what you would have done in 2006 if you knew the outcome of 2008. Now go do it because it's here. This week we have the last of the big earnings reports, and here's the playbook. Pfizer, AMD, and Uber are the names to look for this week. Pfizer will report tomorrow morning, and believe it or not, the highlight of their report will be vaccine and the treatment pill Paxlovid. Honestly, if they're counting on this to boost their bottom line, the stock's going to drop like a lead balloon tomorrow. Everyone knows that vaccine injections have fallen in numbers, and the report last week about Paxlovid says that it's sitting in warehouses not being used. There is one thing that can help it, though. If the government bought all the vaccines and pills, it'll make the stock pop. Hey, Pelosi, while you're filming that fake meeting with Zelensky, let me know if you bought some Pfizer stock. Because if you did, we all know what's going to happen tomorrow. So anyway, AMD is also reporting, and it's going to be a big deal. This report will show how the chip shortage is affecting the computer market, and it will also show the state of the entire computer market. My thoughts are, honestly, that less computers are being sold now. Remember that computers were a scamdemic play when people needed new laptops to work or learn from home. And I also feel that AMD will tank tomorrow. Uber reports on Wednesday, and that will be a good report in my opinion. It's obvious that people are going out again. Travel is up and Uber is needed. I like this play. I own the stock, not just the stock options, but I own the stock, and I've been selling covered calls on it for the past 6 weeks. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be great. Another great covered call week this week on it. As we wind down from earnings season, we will find the market going south. As I said before, I expect the Dow to drop to about 31,500 in the next 3 weeks. Write it down, see if I'm right. It's going to get ugly. Look to park your money or buy puts. Be careful, because when the VIX is as high as 33 as it is now, the market's going to be crazy. All right, right now the Dow is, it just keeps dropping. It's down 26, the S&P is down 10, and the NASDAQ is down 42, so it's getting really ugly. So let's go. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is below 39,000, and Ethereum is about 2,800. And I'm still waiting for it to go lower. I think that Bitcoin below 30,000 is a play, and Ethereum below 2,000 is a play. And if you just want to get in, get out. Don't buy and hold, because this is not happening anymore. Crypto is not a buy and hold thing anymore. Gold did drop below 1,900, and that surprised me. And silver is still about 23. But if you want to wait till the middle of the month, it'll go back up, because that's usually when I buy my silver. For some reason, it always seems to happen right when I'm ready to buy it. So the Treasury bond is hovering at about 2.92%. And, that's kind of weird. I actually expected it to go up a little bit more. I'm not worried about that. I'm also not worried about oil. Oil is now about $101 a barrel. I think oil is going to hover between 90 and 95 a barrel. It's going to stay there for a while. I mean, it's not there yet, but it's going to get there. It's going to stay there for a while. I don't think Russia's going to be a problem anymore. It's already happening. I also think eventually this war is going to end. I'm actually surprised it's still going on. I think that took everyone by surprise. All right, I want to thank all the listeners on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia. I want to thank you for your continued support. And if you're enjoying the show, please reach out and let us know. Of course, if you guys are online, please let me know what you think of the show. Please leave comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And please share the page, and please like the Money Chat Now page on YouTube. I'm trying to rebuild the audience because they already shut me down once. So if you guys could do that, that would be great, because the Ministry of Truth and YouTube has said to me, you can't be on YouTube anymore. Isn't that amazing? Ugh, it's just so amazing that they allow this stuff to happen. It's just not right. Where did they come up with this stuff from? By the way, I got a Ministry of Truth something to talk about possibly tomorrow. I'll talk about that on that happened on my other show this weekend. We'll talk about that tomorrow if it happens. All right, from time to time, I own some of the assets and options discussed on this show. The opinions discussed on this show are solely mine, and no one has asked me to discuss them. And some people are talking and telling me to not discuss them anymore. I know there's some people, even other hosts on this radio station are saying, hey, can you shut that guy up? Well, don't shut me up, because I am the real truth. I am the real truth. I'm the truth. All right. Have a profitable day. We'll see you tomorrow.